Welcome to English 2310 Short Story. I hope you have had time to look around the course, but if you haven't, be sure to do that. With this presentation, I will be going over the syllabus, the schedule, and other matters relevant to the course. So if you haven't printed out the syllabus and schedule, please pause this presentation until you have those documents in hand. You may also want a pencil and highlighter while we are going through the information. If you are having any computer difficulties, get those resolved immediately by calling tech support 254-968-1960. Contact me if you have any questions that you can't answer through the material provided. Do contact me through Blackboard email, not my regular Tarleton email. I keep all course materials and correspondence within the course for archiving. You can also phone me, and there's the number. That's my only phone number, or text me at the same number. If you do text me, please provide your name and class 2310 so that I know that you aren't in my technical writing class. Always use a professional demeanor. This is a professional work environment as well as an instructional one. Let's go through the syllabus and the schedule. So if you don't have that right now, please get it. The syllabus, you can see that I have my contact information at the top. Once again, textbook, no text is required. I'll either provide the short story or a link to it, as well as other materials. That probably saved you $100 or so. The way my course is set up is as follows. The first learning module is orientation, which is the first week. Then we have 4 weeks for learning module A, 4 weeks for learning module B, and 4 weeks for learning module C. The 4th, 8th, and 12th units of each module are writing weeks, where you will write an essay and submit it. Learning module, the last one, is the final exam. And then you have the course evaluation. Quizzes will count 15%, journals 15%, writing assignment 1, 15%, 2 and 3 will count 20% each, and the final exam 15%. Please print out the schedule and keep it accessible. Unit assignments are due on Sundays at 11:30. Don't wait until the last minute to begin a unit. There's too much reading and you need some time to think about it. Also, sometimes things happen. You have bad weather, it knocks out your internet. If you do that, if you wait to the last minute and it knocks you out, then you have missed that quiz. I'm not opening it back up the next day just because we had a lightning storm. So you need to do things early. Missed quizzes and journals cannot be made up. Writing assignments will be accepted late with an approved extension, or without an approved extension, you'll have penalty points. So once again, if a quiz locks up before 9 o'clock on Sunday night, you will probably be able to contact me to get the quiz reset with enough time to start the quiz over. But if you wait till the last minute and to do your quiz, don't contact me after 9 on Sunday. And tech support can't reset it. So if you waited till the last minute, you're probably going to have to take a 0 on that quiz or journal. Fastest way to contact me is by texting me. And again, do that within the time frame. The weekly quizzes will test your reading comprehension of the stories, the literary concepts, along with the critical articles and some analysis skills. You have weekly journal posts, which will be seen only by me, and those are meant to help you interact with the literature on a personal level. Writing assignments must be submitted by the due date. If your writing assignment is submitted late, you lose 10 points a day unless you arrange an extension before the due date. Ask for the extension if something has happened. Don't turn it in late and take the deduction. If you miss a writing assignment and then decide to complete the course, you cannot go back and make up this missed assignment. Late assignments with an extension will be accepted up to 5 days past the due date, and late assignments without an extension will be accepted only 3 days past the due date. Plan to have all your weekly activities done in advance of the deadline. Don't wait until the last day or the last hour. The internet and your computer will not cooperate. Stay up to date in the course. Check Blackboard daily for anything that I have to tell you or changes in the course. Sometimes things happen on my side as well. This course requires a definite commitment of time and study each week, as well as personal integrity and self-motivation. And then we have a section in the syllabus about professionalism, academic honesty, technical support, etc. You can read those on your own. Don't fail to read them. If you'll go to the last page of the syllabus, I have some advice where I recommend that you save all your work in 2 places: a thumb drive, a cloud drive, a TSU drive space. Don't trust that it's going to be on the computer or that you're going to always have your thumb drive. Use a calendar to coordinate your personal, your educational, and professional activities. This is really important to do. Create a folder or notebook for class materials. Use a professional demeanor and participate fully. It is your education. Now, as far as the schedule, use this schedule to mark your own calendars. You can see that I have it marked out. The schedule is divided into modules. I have the due dates on there. This is pretty simple to read, but also transfer this information to your own calendars. You'll be able to keep up much better if you do that. Course management. This is something that I recommend as well. I recommend that you have an electronic folder on your thumb drive or your TSU drive, a folder titled 2310 for English or English 2310, and save it to 2 drives. In that folder, that electronic folder, have 4 subfolders: Orientation, Learning Module A, Learning Module B, and Learning Module C. And you'll put any of the documents, assignments, etc. in those folders. I also recommend that you get a paper folder, maybe one with a 3-ring binder, maybe dividers. This helps you stay organized. Even if it seems silly, it does help you keep everything straight in your mind and not wonder what's due and when it's due. Use a calendar. I do this. Everyone I know does this if they want to stay organized. When you turn an assignment in for me, you need to name your file a certain way, and that's what I have here. I want it to be a Microsoft compatible file because I will be opening it in Microsoft Word. And that means the extension on the file is doc, docx, or RTF. Now, if you are composing in Microsoft Word, it will automatically put those extensions on there. So all you have to do is when you save your file, you name it with your last name, underscore, file name, underscore, and then 2310 for short story. Here's an example. Last name Jenkins, underscore, info, underscore, 2310. Don't submit an incorrectly named file. I need these file names for my own course management. It helps alphabetize things. It helps me put them in the right folders. Hopefully you have already learned this technique. If not, it's time to practice it and use it more extensively. You need a pencil or a pen. I prefer pencil because I can erase. You need a highlighter. You need a little dictionary nearby. You also need to be willing to do a little research, and you need to be willing to ask a few questions. In other words, when you read something like the short story, underline things that seem significant, highlight things. Use a dictionary to look up a word that you don't understand. Research the author or research the story. And then ask questions. Write down questions that you want to ask. And email me or text me if you have a question. Don't just idly read and think, oh, well, I'm done. You're going to be having quizzes over this, and your understanding will help your writing assignments. You're going to be reading two types of documents, stories and articles. A story is fiction. It is created from the imagination. It is for entertainment purposes, but it might have a theme or observation about life or humans. And all of these stories that we are reading do have that. These stories are based on significant topics. They're not just simply for entertainment. They also make some kind of comment on life or humans. Now, articles, you'll also be reading articles, which is nonfiction, and this is created from reality, in meaning that an author has read the story and wants to say something about it. So they have made a commentary on the story. They provide information, they provide quotes from the text, and they try to explain what their idea is. It will have a thesis with evidence to prove the claim. So when you refer to these things, refer to them correctly. The story is the fiction one, the article is the nonfiction one. What to look for while reading a story. Look for the author's observations of life, or what the author seems to be saying about humans. What are humans like? Look for verisimilitude. Verisimilitude means how the author creates the illusion of reality. They want to make it seem like this fictional story could have actually happened. Even if it's set on a faraway planet, they want to make it seem like it's something that could actually happen. Notice the title of the story. Usually the titles are important to understanding the story. And when you refer to titles in your writing, the short story titles are always in quotation marks. Notice also the first line and the last line. Those are usually significant as well. Authors take quite a bit of time to get the first line right and the last line right. Look for repetitions and patterns, repetitions of colors, repetitions of water or something symbolic that might be symbolic. Keep asking why. Why did the author put that in there? Why did the author have this character say that? Feel free to do a little internet research to see if what you're thinking matches with what other people have thought, or to kind of help you formulate your own thoughts on it. So while you're looking, while you're reading a story, don't make it passive, make it active. And I have in the next unit a printout for you so that you can look at some of the things in the stories. Now, reading an article is a different set of skills. So this slide tells you what to look for when tackling the arguments found in the articles. First of all, the writer of each article has an overall point or claim to make about the story. That point is usually found toward the end of the introduction and near the end of the conclusion. So that is their thesis. You'll find that toward the end of the introduction. That would be their claim about whatever topic they're focusing on in the story. The body would have multiple subpoints to prove the thesis. Try to read the story more than once. The first time you read it just to understand what it's about. The second time, start taking it apart. And the way to read stories or articles, I said story, but the article too, read it more than once. Divide it and conquer it. Look for where the introduction begins and ends. Look for where the body begins and ends. Try to define the conclusion. And then once you see the structure in there, sometimes it's not that easy, but most of the time it is, that everybody writes with this basic structure in mind. So look for the topic, the review of literature, the purpose, goal, thesis, and then look for how they're going to prove that thesis, and then the conclusion. The final claim, overall thesis, shows up more clearly toward the end. Mark the thesis of the article. Be sure and read interactively. What's left to do in Unit 00? Well, read and reread any materials I have provided. Watch the video, which you are doing right now. Take notes on the video. There's also a printout. You could take notes on that printout. Go through the printout without watching the video. Take the quiz after you feel like you're comfortable with the setup of the unit and the course. Go to the journal and write the journal. Read my journal entry and then write yours, preferably in your own word processor, and then copy and paste it. If you write in the journal entry and it doesn't submit correctly, you have lost it. So that's why I say compose in your own word processor, save it, and then copy and paste it into the journal window. You also need to fill out the info form. You'll have to download it, save it as instructed, name it as instructed, fill it out, and then upload it in the assignment. And I think that is it. Again, if your TSU email is not active and working, get to that task immediately. My announcements in the course go to your TSU email. Welcome to the class again. I hope you enjoy the stories. Most people do. And if you hear my chair squeaking during this, or if you hear these strange noises, it is my chair when I move. I try not to move, but oh well. Anyway, welcome to Short Story.